We've all heard about the state's proposed budget bill. It contains cutbacks to public school funding and a big increase in vouchers for private schools.
But what you may not know is it also contains big changes to the public records law. Tonight at 11, lead investigator Brian Duggar is going to break this down for us, but he joins us now for a preview. Brian, this is kind of a big deal. Why should this matter to our viewers, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big deal for particularly media,
Right.
but I mean, we're not talking small changes. We're talking significant changes in the law, and mostly it's police records and prosecutor records. So you think whenever we do our job, when we did the Cedar Point investigation, we got all of these records called supplemental police reports, and this is more than a typical, hey, we showed up, somebody called the police, this is the address. A supplemental report gives you the police observations when they're there, the witness statements, a lot of information that we're able to use to build a story. So the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association is trying to get rid of supplemental reports. They say it jeopardizes investigations early on, that it gives people too much information. So they're trying to close the loophole. And, you know, there were two big Supreme Court cases that allowed this, is Myers versus Myers was one. Then there was another Supreme Court case, Castor versus the City of Columbus. And what that did, when you're talking about trial preparation records, it extended, like right now, I can go to the prosecutor's office after a trial is finished and I can get their case file. But, and that's because of this Castor ruling. So they're trying to change this so it's going to be much farther down the road after all direct appeals are done. So really, Amanda, what we're talking here, we're talking about police records, prosecutor records, and the way it's currently written right now, there's a chance you may not even be able to get a police record.
Now, body cam video, just a week or so ago, they started talking about charging the general public for it. Because some general public people are web people, that kind of thing, and not legitimate news operations. But is this even a problem other than what you might be doing with it? Do general people request these documents?
Yeah, so here's the big issue, and of course it's going to affect media companies, but it's going to affect wrongful conviction groups. We've done a lot of investigations here at wrongful conviction. 2019, guilty without proof. Wayne Brady and Carl Willis were released as a result of that investigation. And that involved a lot of these supplemental records, other stuff that you would not be able to get under the new law. Now, 5 men in the past 6 months, their charges were dismissed in a 1992 murder. And all of those were these police records from very early on in the investigation that were never turned over to the prosecutor or the defense attorneys. So if this law passes in its current form, you know, I talked to the Ohio Innocence Project. They've done 43 people that they've freed in the state of Ohio, their work. I asked him how many of these people would be freed under the new law. He said 0.
0, wow.
So why do we want to do this? What's the positive? What's to be gained by changing this law?
The accountability factor there.
Yeah, I mean, my concern, of course, is that police and prosecutors are going to be able to, all their work going to take place in the shadows, which nobody wants that.
Right.
I don't even think they would say that they want that. But, you know, I mean, the Prosecuting Attorney Association is a very powerful group, and they're really pushing the lawmakers for this. And they tried it 2 years ago. So the sneaky thing about this is it's attached to the budget bill.
Wow.
So if this doesn't get out there, I mean, lawmakers are going to have to decide, do I want to pass the budget or don't I? And if you vote yes, if these changes stay in there, you're voting to change the public records.
Yeah,
So
not good.
At
Need
this
transparency
point,
there.
Maybe an amendment could be coming, but the budget has to be passed, by the summer, yeah?
Yeah, it has to be passed by, I think it's like
June or July.
DeWine has to sign it by June 25th. So the Senate is going to be able to hold debates on this. They could take this out of that. DeWine actually has the power to do line item veto, so he could take it out.
Okay.
But at this point, nobody's talking about it
Right.
until us. I mean, we are the first media group in Ohio that I've been able to find that is even bringing attention to this.
And
I'm glad
that's-
we have this. It's coming 11 investigations
Yeah.
done at 11 o'clock on WTOL.
Yep.
Okay.
Brian,
for your
thanks so
work,
much
Brian.
for coming
We
in.
appreciate it.